So this is actually the path of Hurricane Sandy. Hurricane Sandy starts off as a low-pressure cyclone. It quickly gains speed along the way and becomes a tropical storm, then a hurricane, reaching its peak at Category 3. Now it is nearing land, and it will hit along the coast of New York and New Jersey as a Category 1 hurricane, though it does near Category 2, and we will be back with you when it does.
So I'm Weatherman Bill,
And this is Weatherman Gage.
and we are here October 29th, 2012. And this is when Hurricane Sandy hit the New York region. And that was actually pretty devastating. This is around where we live, actually.
Sandy was a huge low pressure system. The wind was blowing towards the center and counterclockwise throughout the entire storm. So in the low pressure area, obviously the pressure was much lower. For the isobars, the farther you get out, the higher the pressure gets. And the farther you go in, the lower the pressure is.
And the wind vanes here, they further support this counterclockwise movement. And you can see the wind vanes are kind of pointing this way, and they're going around like that. And these wind vanes actually are very special because they also tell wind speed. And for example, you see this little line over here. This represents 5 miles per hour. And this little longer line represents 10 miles per hour. And of course, when you're reading one of these, you add up these values. So this would be around 15.
So the shaded part of our weather map shows precipitation. So the lighter green spots represent small precipitation, 0.01 inches. As you get towards the center of the low pressure area, you'll experience a lot more heavy rainfall, up to 7 inches of rain in New York City. The purple is not as heavy, it's about like 2 inches, and the blue is about 1.5, still substantial though. It caused a lot of flooding throughout the entire storm in this region.
Yep, and these further demonstrate which places got hit the hardest. So if someone like light green, it was probably like the storm just breezed by. But somewhere like this orange, where it's getting 7 inches of rain, that's a devastating storm that is taking place. And it's usually closer towards the eye in the center of the storm.
So these things are called fronts. So they point in the direction that the air masses are moving. They're also a border between the two air masses. So fronts, so like these cold fronts right here, they show cold air masses, and the warm fronts show much warmer air masses. So they are huge air masses that have the same characteristics as the air around them.
Alright, and these purple ones are actually pretty interesting. It explains the red one and the blue one, which is warm and cold, of course. But these purple ones are actually when two cold fronts sandwich a warm front, and it pushes the warm air upwards. And that's actually pretty interesting here. And this front also actually shows air movement, and the air is going, for example, this way, and that way.
So now we will be back with you with the path of Hurricane Sandy. Hurricane Sandy continues moving upwards into land, where it becomes like a post-tropical cyclone, and it is marked by our low pressure system symbol, and it continues onto land and eventually dissipates. So this is our little key describing what each thing is. And a low pressure system is basically winds up to 38 miles per hour. Tropical storm is more intense, winds 39 to 73. Category 1 is even more, 74 to 95. Even more intense, Category 2, 96 to 110. Category 3 is 111 to 129. And Sandy hit about 115, so it remained at about the Category 3 range.